Okay, it says I'm live here. Let's get this camera right here in the right spot. Good to see everybody. Robbie Allen, and with Credit Restoration of Texas. So in the last video, I was talking about getting out of debt. I know I talk about credit repair a lot, but we have teamed up with an excellent company that helps people get out of debt. But before I go into that, I really want to talk about the different ways to get out of debt. When I'm talking about debt, I mean unsecured debt, like credit card debt, personal loans, payday loans, and like those predatory lenders that charge like 500%. So there's a couple of ways to do it. Um, One way, of course, is what everybody is always looking for, which is a personal loan or a debt consolidation loan. The thing with it is, excuse me for a minute. The thing with that is that um, when it comes to a debt consolidation loan, all it is just a loan. The bank doesn't care what you do with the money. The bank doesn't care if you get a loan for 10,000 and you pay off your credit cards, or you get a loan for 10,000 and you go to Tahiti. They're not specifically paying off your credit cards. And then they're not doing that for you. You just get the money, and then whatever you do with it is up to you. So normally, if you're trying to get out of debt by getting a personal loan, one, your credit score has to be pretty good. I'd say a 680 is the minimum, and a minimum, preferably like a 700, 725, because a lot of times, by the time you're trying to find a personal loan, you're already maxed out and your scores are below 650. And you may, at a 650, 640, 630, that's a very dangerous place to be, because all you're going to come across are very small loans, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, very high interest. And all you're doing is just digging a hole for yourself. You're just taking a shovel and just, putting dirt on your head. So, if your credit scores are really good, I mean, you might try like SoFi, I think is good. Lending Club is another one. But if your credit scores are good, but if they're not going to give you enough and some people have a lot of debt, 30, 50, 60, 80, $100,000 worth of credit card debt that's going at, the average is 23% interest. If you're not going to get a loan big enough to pay that off, then what you're really doing is all of it. You're just digging, once again, you're just getting into more debt, well, not technically getting into more debt, but now you have another bill to pay, right? You've got another minimum. Now, if you can wipe it all out and then, get it down to a decent interest rate, and interest rates are high right now. I mean, even with a very good credit score, you're looking at 8 to 12%. So is it a possibility to get a personal loan and get out of debt? Yes. But for most people that are already maxed out on their cards, it's really not a real possibility. So when you see like debt consolidation, just be aware that a lot of times it's not a real consolidation. So that is for personal loans. And I will be back here to talk about, well, actually, you know what? This is only we're only like 3 minutes. So let's talk a little bit more about some other things here. So we've got, let's see here. I'm here in beautiful San Antonio, Texas, right over here by North Star Mall. So the other one, and it's very, very effective. Once again, if your credit is good, another way to get out of debt is zero interest credit cards. I really like zero interest credit cards, but your credit has to be good. I mean, if at least a 680, but most of the time I find that a 680 to a 700, you're probably getting cards like $5,000 cards, maybe a 10,000, maybe a 12,000, because there's only so much credit you can get. So obviously, you've got a very good credit history. Hopefully you're not just totally maxed out, and you can catch it like when you're maybe at 50%, your credit's still a 680 or a 700, and you'll reach out to them. Or actually just go on Google zero balance transfers, and you'll find a lot of different cards on there. You've got Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, Citi, and look for the zero balance transfer offers, where it's like, normally 12 months is really short. Try to find one that's at least 15 months or 18 months. There's normally a 3% balance transfer fee. And that's something that we can help you with. Like if you're like, I'm very unfamiliar with this, if you call it Credit Restoration of Texas, we can actually help you do that and get those monies transferred over, and into a zero interest card. So those are very effective. But once again, your credit's got to be pretty good. It's got to be a 680, 700, maybe even a 720. And also, if you're talking about if you've got like, and I mean for maybe $10,000 to $20,000, that makes sense. Once you're already up in the 30,000 plus in credit card debt, it's going to be hard to get to for you to get that much in zero interest credit cards. But that is another way. So now kind of the other way that you can get out of debt, this is what there's a lot of financial advisors, financial planners that talk about it. It's called the snowball, where a lot of people are they've got like 5-10 different cards. And I talk to them every day and they're like, oh yeah, I'm paying a little bit over the minimum to them. I'm like, there's no point in doing that. There's no point paying an extra $20 or $30 to 5 different cards. It's just going to get eaten up by interest. The only way, if you're going to knock out a card that way, is to pay double, triple payments, not $20 here, $20 here, $20 here. So you're better off if you got 10 cards, instead of like putting an extra $20 on each card, is one, you got to stop using them. The debt has got to stop growing. And then taking all that's $20 times 10 cards, $200, just putting it all on one card, right? $200 a month on one card, just pay the minimums on the rest. You knock out the smallest one first, then you go to the second one. Now you've got the payment from that one. Now it's $230. Then you go to the next one. Now you've got $260. And that's called the snowball effect. It takes a lot of discipline. You can't use your cards anymore. And what I found is that most people these days, with the amount of inflation, rents are up hundreds of dollars, gas has doubled in price, groceries are up 20 or 30%, car insurance, I just can't believe how much it doubled in a few years. So, but most people can't do that because their minimum payments are already they're out of control, right? And so to get out of the snowball, you have to have extra funds, and you'll hear some of these other experts eat rice and beans and go get a job at Uber. I mean, you can, don't get me wrong, that's a real way to do it. But now times are really, really tight right now. And it's not just for a few people, it's for tens of millions of Americans. So that is the debt snowball way. So I'm going to leave y'all with that. There's a couple others that I'm going to talk about later. One is credit counseling is. We'll go over that. And of course, you've got another one, which is bankruptcy, which I know it's a scary word to people, but it's there. I mean, we live in America. There's no debtor's prison. Nobody's going to jail over it. And it's a second chance, right? And then we've got debt settlement, debt relief, which is a very effective way of getting out of debt, and you don't have to have the courts involved in your business. So we're going to talk about those at another time, but I want to thank y'all for coming on and watching me here today. And it's y'all have a great weekend.